Thank you very much. Dear Minister, Diana, dear mayors of the network, dear friends. Well, having watched now this movie, I must say I really regret not to be with you, because you have shown how marvelous your cities are. So I would first like to thank the Portuguese presidency and the municipality of Sintra for organizing this important event. This conference really highlights the role of the social economy in the creation of quality jobs and in the implementation of the European Pillar of Social Rights in the current context, but also in the longer term. And I want really to congratulate the network of Portuguese cities for being now the European Capital of Social Economy 2021. But also I listened carefully to your speeches, and they really translate how strongly social economy is anchored with the cities, with the territories, with the local conditions, and how strongly also Portugal and the local authorities are committed to develop on the basis of a long tradition the social economy. As the pandemic and the related containment measures continue to have an impact on our lives, it is essential for Europe and its member states to ensure that this crisis does not result in further growing inequalities. And when we are speaking about inequalities, we are not just thinking about income inequalities, but also inequalities of capabilities, to refer to Amartya Sen, the British Indian economist, which refers to the capacity of citizens to access to social services like health, nutrition, education. And I think here social economy is key, precisely to give citizens this capacity to access important social services. We cannot rebuild our economies after this crisis if social cohesion, if territorial cohesion is weakening. We should leave no one behind, and no region behind, no city behind. And the Commission is absolutely committed to that, because we consider this as a necessity and as an urgency. We need now to shift from emergency measures to building a fair, inclusive, and sustainable recovery, with social progress at its heart. And here the action plan for the implementation of the social pillar, which will be a key issue during the Porto summit, really shows the way. And I'm really very grateful to the Portuguese presidency to attach such a high importance, and to Anna and also the Prime Minister, such a high importance to the action plan, and especially also to the organization of the summit in Porto. Social economy organizations play a key role in this regard in the implementation of the action plan. They are contributing to cushioning the impact of this crisis in numerous ways, but they also will contribute to building a new sustainable economy. Some have quickly adapted their activities to respond to the most urgent needs. For example, many social cooperatives and organizations have developed support networks for people in need in their communities, assistance for digital education, especially for kids who sometimes had difficulties because they had not the devices, they had not the connections, but also by creating food banks or increasing the food banks to combat poverty, by preventing loneliness, but also by acting against homelessness. This crisis has created a lot of social demands that we have to address. More generally, social economy organizations are also delivering a wide range of services, especially for the most vulnerable in society, in cooperation with public authorities and by complementing their actions. However, social economy also suffers from the consequences of this crisis. Their activities were often interrupted. They could not rely on a sufficient number of volunteers. The management of the crisis entailed additional costs, and their available funding proved sometimes more limited. While it is still too early to get a full picture of how social economy organizations weathered the COVID-19 storm, initial data suggests that they were affected almost as much as traditional businesses, although we know that social economy normally is more resilient. For example, in France, the level of paid jobs in the social economy dropped by 2.5% between June 2019 and June 2020, which represents more than 50,000 jobs lost. And therefore, the Commission very rapidly asked governments to include social enterprises in the different national support schemes, be it the supports to enterprises or the short-time work. We now need to look beyond the crisis. We need to work on building a fairer, more prosperous and stronger union, while accelerating its long-term transformation into a greener economy fit for the digital age. I'm convinced that the social economy has its part to play in achieving this ambition. The reason for this is very simple. The social economy puts people first. With the social economy, the EU has a powerful tool to lead the green and digital transitions by example and by design. The social economy model is embedded in a stakeholders model instead of a shareholders model. Thanks to the participation of workers, local communities, and stakeholders, social economy enterprises are able to create a positive social impact and economic impact to the benefits of citizens and local communities. It is, to quote another economist, Mariana Mazzucato, it is really a mission economy whose main objective is to increase public value. Social enterprises shall be a driving force of a new growth model that is good for people and good for the planet. Social economy actors pursue societal goals. The social economy model, in all its diversity and richness, represents a success story that need to be taken as reference at the current crucial juncture where we aim at rebuilding our economies and societies. It is a very flexible model, and it naturally brings innovation. For example, social enterprises active in the area of reuse and repair do offer a large number of decent jobs to people at risk of exclusion. The Commission has adopted a circular economy action plan, which is one of the main blocks of the European Green Deal. And in this field, social enterprises can develop new activities contributing to sustainable growth and particularly to job creation. They also train the people finding a job, in circular skills, filling an important gap of the traditional education systems. Similarly, digital transformation is a powerful vehicle for social innovation. It can enable those who struggle to access training or the labor market. There are many examples of social economy organizations seeking to address the digital divide. One example in France, called Simplon, in Spain, Romania, and Belgium, as well as in Africa. They all offer courses in technical digital skills and hard-to-fill occupations for people furthest from the labor market, as well as for employees in need of reskilling or upskilling. The social economy can inspire systematic changes by promoting alternative business models based on revamped working relationships, collaboration, or driven by social and environmental objectives. At a time when the EU sets out to mainstream an economic model based on a fair, sustainable, and inclusive growth, the transformative capacity of the social economy is gaining momentum. The social economy can help us reinvent the way we live and work, the way we produce and consume, the way we eat and heat, travel and transport, and new platforms are already set up as cooperatives, and they fully respect social and labor protection. Technology can offer a new potential for the social economy enterprises, giving these new technology-based models a clearly human-centered dimension. In its communication on Europe's moment, Repair and Prepare for the Next Generation, adopted in May last year, the Commission already identified the social economy as part of 14 key ecosystems requiring specific support. With a new action plan foreseen by the end of this year, the Commission will put forward concrete measures to help mobilize the full potential of the social economy in the short and long term. We will build on the results of the 2011 Social Business Initiative to contribute to sustainable and inclusive growth and a fair recovery while achieving the green and digital transitions. Our priority with this action plan is to make it easier for social economy stakeholders to operate. This requires first and foremost to boost the visibility of social economy. This was already a priority of the Social Business Initiative, and it remains a key issue today. The general public, policymakers at all levels, and funders still have sometimes, I've seen that this is not the case in the cities here represented, but sometimes they have still a limited awareness, knowledge, and understanding of the specificities of social economy organizations and social enterprises, and of their positive impact on society and the environment. This often means social economy actors do not benefit from appropriate policy support because their economic weight is also often underestimated, although it represents 10% of European GDP. In addition, social entrepreneurship is deemed to be very appealing to young people and potential entrepreneurs. Making it more visible would broaden the appeal of entrepreneurship and create more and better jobs. Helping social economy stakeholders also means helping member states, local authorities, and operators to build enabling ecosystems. In particular, the EU will encourage national and regional authorities to adopt policy strategies in support of social economy. This will make policies and legal frameworks in different fields more coherent and adapted to the needs of social economy organizations and social enterprises. Social economy is an indispensable tool and economic sector for achieving an inclusive ecological transition. That is what a just transition is all about. The Just Transition Fund can support investments by social economy in those regions that are the most affected by the necessity to combat climate change. Social economy stakeholders also need access to public and private finance across the EU. Here also we can do more. Considerable progress was already achieved in this area. Since 2014, a range of funding instruments has been put into place and have often made a difference on the ground. But the reality is that social economy organizations and social enterprises still have difficulties accessing finance. I think it is important to include also social economy in the national recovery plans to make the transformation real, and as it was said, to be in the proximity of the citizens. InvestEU is an important instrument, but it has to be made more accessible for smaller organizations. We need to work more to help social economy organizations and social enterprises to be prepared to manage relevant investments. Therefore, we need to make sure that organizations working on the ground are aware of the wide range of EU and national funding opportunities and are able to navigate the complexity of administrative processes around EU funding. Beyond these three priorities, the action plan will also aim to address other important objectives. For instance, we need to encourage social economy organizations and social enterprises to scale up. The possibilities offered by existing EU rules to use public procurement to pursue social objectives should be better used. Markets can be reserved to enterprises employing disadvantaged workers or people with disabilities. Public authorities can also raise the awareness of social economy organizations and social enterprises on opportunities linked with public procurement. Social economy has a lot of experience in delivering social services, such as long-term care and childhood care. Public authorities should consider them as partners to further improve the delivery of such essential services. And last week, the Commission adopted a child guarantee to provide the right services to children in need. And I think there is an important role for social economy in the implementation of this child guarantee. And more generally, we should encourage social economy organizations and social enterprises to cooperate more together with the public sector as well as with mainstream business. We also need to boost the creation of social innovation and develop the appropriate tools and policy environments so that it can achieve systemic change. The crisis provoked by COVID-19 pandemic makes it even more important for us to make the most out of all new ideas that meet social needs and renew social relations. We need to boost the social impact of social innovation by facilitating its scaling up and replication. Boosting the social economy means empowering social entrepreneurs, in particular, young entrepreneurs, startups, and also through relevant business support organizations. Young people have already shown significant interest in social economy and its positive impact on society. Moreover, in the aftermath of the current crisis, youth will face higher risk of being unemployed. We should therefore encourage youth, as well as other people affected by the crisis, to create jobs for themselves and also hopefully for others. Our action should go beyond the EU borders. We should aim to strengthen the social economy in non-EU countries, in particular in enlargement and neighborhood countries, and through EU development cooperation to support decent jobs, civil society development, and prosperity. I listened that Brazil was mentioned, and Portugal is very active in relation to the development of the Brazilian social economy. We also have an organized cooperation with the Mediterranean countries. It's of utmost importance to create jobs for the young in our Mediterranean neighbors. And here also social economy can be an important tool, as it is in our cooperation relations with Africa. To conclude, it is important that we join our efforts in supporting and promoting social economy, as it allows us Europeans to build back better. The outcome of the event of today will feed into the preparation of the Social Economy Action Plan. I would like to thank you in advance for your valuable contribution to this important initiative. I would like again to pay tribute to the efforts of all social economy stakeholders in Portugal and all over Europe who work every day to make our society fairer, more inclusive, and more sustainable. Thank you very much.